Corinne, what the heck is a crow hook? Stay tuned and I will show you.
Yo, listen up, yo. Get what I'm about to tell you about General Estelle. Judy Girl Crochet. She's the one to watch, teaching crochet skills. Yeah, she's a boss. She whips out yarn, hooks in hand, do the dance, doing the thing to dance. She's got recommend from beanies to blankets, scarves and mittens, crocheting dreams. She's got them all smitten.
So a crow hook is just a double-ended crochet hook. Instead of having just a handle on the end, it has a hook on each end. And I will do a close-up later. But what it allows you to do for this particular project, we're going to use two different color yarns. And what it allows is kind of a Tunisian type of crochet, but I'm not sure it's Tunisian, so don't quote me. But it allows you to use, when you use two different color yarns I did very bright colors for this test blanket. So on this side, the primary color is red, and you can see the red. On the other side, it's yellow. And you can see the difference when I flip the red side over. And it makes a really, really neat look. It makes a really amazing baby blanket. And you don't have to put a border on it. It's the edge is nice and clean. And so you can put a border on it if you want to, but you know, it'll just be fine without it. So that's what we're going to learn how to do today, is a crow hook baby blanket. Welcome back to Cutie Girl Crochet, and thanks for watching today. Today we're going to learn a little bit about crow hooks. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on it, but these are different sizes of crow hooks, which are just double-ended crochet hooks. And like I said in the introduction, the project that we're going to make makes this pattern right here, which is, we're going to use two different color yarns. I'm going to be using a white and then a variegated baby yarn. And it's this one, I used yellow and a variegated red. And you can see the difference. This side is primarily yellow, this side's primarily red. Although you can see the yellow through there, and you can see the red through on this side. It just makes a really, really neat pattern that you can't really do with a regular crochet hook. These are a couple of different sizes. They kind of, to my knowledge, they don't come in a whole lot of different lengths. This one I think is more for Tunisian, but I'm just not sure. But this length, the standard length that you can get at the craft stores, will make the baby blanket. So all you'd need is this size. These ones are a tiny bit longer. I actually have some longer ones, and I made these myself. I just took a knife and I whittled the ends into a hook, not wonderfully, and then I took some really, really fine sandpaper and I sanded them smooth. And so, because I needed some a little bit longer, I actually do have a few that are even longer than this to make, you know, full-size Afghans. You can make a pretty decent size lap Afghan when they're just an inch or two longer. And then this one is the same length as this one, but a little bit narrower. I do have some longer ones. Here's just a regular dowel, and all you do is you just make a hook. If you're handy, you can just make a hook. I use just sandpaper. Once I get the hook shape in there, I just use the sandpaper to sand it smooth. And that's a good length, you know, to do. I think this is about, I don't know, 16 inches or so, a 16-inch dowel. So now how these differ from this is an Afghan hook. And an Afghan hook has a end on it. And you cannot do this pattern with an Afghan hook. You absolutely need a crow hook. So for this project, I am going to be using this middle-sized hook, and I'm going to be using, for my variegated side, I'm going to be using this Bernat Softy Baby. I have 2 skeins of this. They are 4.25 ounce and 310 yards each. And then I just had this Bernat Baby Sport white. It's just white. And I will just use this I'm not going to put a border on it, so I'll just use this all the way to the end. So let me get set up and we'll get started. Every once in a while, us crocheters, we want to try something new or do something. We get tired of doing the same old thing, and that's kind of what happened when I discovered this. It was back in the 80s, the late 80s, I think. There was a business that was across the street from the salon that I owned, and there was a gal making this blanket with, I had never seen or done anything with a crow hook before. And she told me how to do it, and it was so simple. I thought, I need to do this. Well, I since have made at least a dozen blankets with this pattern. It takes a little bit longer, but the effect is quite amazing. So what we're going to do is we're going to start with a slip stitch, and then we're going to chain 121 for this is going to be, I'm going to make a approximately 3 by 4 baby Afghan. So we're going to chain 120 for this project. 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, you should have your chain of 121. And now what we are going to do is we are going to insert our hook into the first chain from the hook, and we're going to pull up a loop. And we're going to do that in the next one, pull up a loop, into the next chain, pull up a loop, and we're going to do that all the way across. So just insert your hook, pull up a loop, insert your hook, pull up a loop. Now this is going to be a learn as you go, or figure it out as you go. And so it'll make sense when we start rolling along. So this is just what you want to do all the way across. Whoops. And so as you're going along, this will fill up. This whole thing is going to fill up. And I want to encourage you to stop the video and catch up, or speed up the video if you're going faster than what I am doing. Like I said, this project takes a little bit longer. It's a little bit more tedious than other projects, but the result is unlike anything that you can get with just straight crochet. It's still crocheting, sort of, but not really. So for me, and I can go pretty fast. I'm not going fast here because I'm showing. But for me, for just to do one of the rows back and forth, it takes me about 8 minutes. And so, you know, it's not super fast, but the beauty of it is it's also not super hard. This is great for beginners who can't quite get the grasp of all of the different crochet stitches. This basically, you do this, just pull up loops and you do a chain stitch, and that's it. It's not complicated at all. So for people who are challenged by the different stitches in regular crochet, you can do this. It's very, very simple. It's very simple. It doesn't, and it's nice because you got a nice long something to hang on to while you're making your loops all the way across. This is we have a baby coming in the family. My husband's oldest son is, him and his wife are expecting their first baby, so I am making this for the baby. It's the first grandchild, so it's a lot of excitement in the air, and you know, we're all focused on baby, and so whoops. Okay, I'm almost to the end. And see how it's filling up. So it'll get pretty filled up. All right. So there they all are. And this is what it looks like. So you've got your 120 loops all on your hook. Now what you're going to do is you're going to turn. So your white is now on this end, and you're going to start your variegated, or whatever. You can use any two colors you want. You can probably use two of the same color, but you're not going to get the fun effect. So what you want to do is, in the first loop, you want to pull up a loop, and then you want to chain 3. So 1, 2, 3. And now what you're going to do is you're going to pull those 3 chains through the first 3 loops on your hook. And then you're going to chain 3. 1, 2, 3. And then again, you're going to take the next 3 loops that are on the hook, and you're going to pull that through. And then you're going to chain 3. And again, you're going to pull through 3 loops, and you're going to chain 3. And we are going to do this all the way across. Chain 3, pull through 3. Chain 3, pull through 3. Chain 3, pull through 3. And you're just going to continue that pattern all the way across until you get to the end of the row. This is very, very simple. Chain stitch is the only stitch that you do, other than pulling through loops. Oops. I would suggest to work loosely and don't work tight. It just makes it easier to get the hook in to the stitches. I'm not a super tight crocheter. I tend to crochet a little looser. So this works okay for me, but some people crochet very tight and wrap their yarn around their finger really tight, and I just don't do that. So another thing is, if you're not comfortable working with your hand here, you can absolutely hold this back here and do this, pull through, and you can hold it anywhere along the edge that you're comfortable with. So if you don't want to hang on to it close to the hook end, and for people who crochet like this, it's pretty easy to do it like that as well. Everybody crochets differently, so I haven't tried to. I knife hold, so I haven't tried to do the pencil hold with this. I don't know how that would work. It might work for pencil hold people. Whoops. But you'll have to just give it a try. So we're still chaining 3 and pulling through 3 loops. I had a fun thing happen this morning. My dad turned 95 years old today, and so we were having a little afternoon get together, and I was getting ready to leave the house, and I'm standing up by my car, and a beautiful bald eagle comes flying over my head. It was just gorgeous. I just love bald eagles. It was really a fun a really fun surprise to have first thing in the morning, or when I was leaving. It just kind of made me smile. I love bald eagles. We have quite a few of them. I don't know if you remember, but I'm in Tacoma, Washington, and we have quite a few bald eagles around, and the population is growing, which I'm thrilled about, because they're just such beautiful, gorgeous animals. Of course, people who fish get kind of frustrated with them because, you're sitting out in a boat and you're fishing and not catching anything, and a bald eagle comes along and swoop, just grabs that fish right out of the water and off it goes. But that's their That's how they get their food. So, but I know people who fish. I'm a vegetarian, so I don't fish, but I know people who fish, they get kind of frustrated with the when the eagles come while they're fishing. Whoops. All right, I am at my last 3 loops. All right, so this will always kind of end up being a little loose on the end, so just go ahead and give your working yarn a little bit of a tug. So now what we are going to do is we're going to chain 1. And then we are going to, through the 3 loops in the chains that you made, we're just going to pull up a loop all the way across, just like we did in our beginning chain. We're going to do it in 3s between the segments that we just made. So there's the loop, there's the chain there. So 1, 2, 3, and we'll skip the segment of 3. 1, 2, 3. Skip the segment of 3. 1. Whoops. 1. Ah. That's why you should work loose. 1, 2, 3. Did I miss it? Oh, I did. I did. Let me back that one up. It's very forgiving. So 1, 2. There we go. I put 2 loops in the same chain. Skip the segment. 1, 2, 3. Skip. 1, 2, 3. And we're going to do this all the way across. The reason why my hands are moving so much is because I'm working on the table. Usually you'll do this sitting on the couch and not at a table. So I'm trying to hold my hands up, and my hands keep moving around, because if I keep my hands down like this keeps hitting the table and it's going to drive everyone crazy. So that's why. So I apologize for the my hands going all over the place. So again, we're going through the 3 chain spaces, and then we're skipping the little clusters or segments. 1, 2, 3, and then we're going to do that all the way across. And you'll see that your crow hook will start filling up full of stitches. And now if you want to, they make little dealies that you could put on the ends of like your knitting needles or whatever, and it'll keep these stitches from coming off the end. But if the stitches do for some reason come off the end, they're not going to come out. They'll just, here, let me show you. If they happen to fall off, they're going to stay there. They're not really going to come out. So all you have to do is just put them back on like that if they come off the end. So don't panic if all of a sudden you look over and you've got 3 or 4 stitches dangling off the end. It's gonna happen unless you secure that end. But I never do. If 1 or 2 falls off, I just put them back on. I don't worry about it too much. And working with this smaller yarn, you probably won't have too much of an issue. So again, we'll get back at it here. Yep, my dad turned 95 today. There's quite a bit of longevity. Well, there's longevity on both sides of my family. My mom was 92. She just passed a few weeks ago. And so there's longevity on both sides of my family. And my dad's he's doing pretty good. He's having some eyesight, kind of vertigo-y, equilibrium-y kind of issues. But other than that, he's good. He's doing really well. So it was fun. We got him a year of cable TV, the big package. We got him he had a basic cable, so we upgraded his cable to all of the sports channels and all of the channels. So he'll enjoy that. And I bought him some scratch lottery tickets, and he won, I think, $40. So I have to go cash those in and get him some more tickets because we kind of just let it ride. So that was kind of fun to do that. Yeah, I should have crocheted a little bit looser on that last stitch. You might have to just, this one's okay, but the loop that's closest to the segment or the cluster, you might have to give it a tug if you crochet pretty tight. Another thing you can do, which is not going to affect the pattern at all, is you can actually skip that first one, and you can do your 3 in the middle of the chain 3 and the top of the cluster like that, and then just skip that first one. You can do that as well, and it's not going to affect the pattern or the look of the pattern at all. It just doesn't affect it at all. I don't do it. I do the one at the right next to the cluster, but that's an option if you're a tight crocheter or impatient or whatever. So like I said, it takes me usually about, to do a row there and back, about, I don't know, 8 minutes or so. This, like I said, this is not fast. This is just simple, and the end result is pretty cool looking. You can get it done pretty fast, but not as fast as if you were just straight crocheting. But like I said, you're really not going to get the look of the 2 different color sides, which I think looks so fun. It's just such a cool looking thing to do. The gal that I learned this from, she made a lot of baby blankets to sell, and so that's why her dad had actually made her a dowel hook. She didn't use a store-bought hook. She made a dowel hook, and it was longer because she couldn't stand this when it would wrinkle up like this. It just drove her nuts. So she made one. I think hers was about 3 feet long, and she would just sit the end on the kind of the table. And of course, it's not gonna. It was wood, so it's, wood sounds different. You can tell it doesn't make a horrible noise like the metal ones do. So, but I've been making these ever since, and I just love doing it. And there's just not a lot of patterns on YouTube for crow hooks, or videos on what they are or anything. I looked, and it's like, wow, people need to really kind of know about this, because they're another crochet option when you need something different to do. And if you don't want to put a border on something, which is always my MO. I mean, I don't mind putting borders on stuff, but if I don't have to, I won't. I think that some things are fine without them. Okay, we have made it to the end. All of our loops are on the hook, and now once again we're going to turn. So now our working yarn is the white, and it's going to be on the left hand side. So what you want to do, we're going to do it all over again. We're going to, let me tighten that up. We're going to pull up a loop through the first loop that was on the hook, and we're going to chain 3. 1, 2, 3, and pull through 3. Now, because we did these in segments of 3 between the segments or the clusters, these kind of are together. You don't really have to focus too much on counting to 3, counting 3 loops. They're together, and so it's a little bit easier to pull them through from now on. That first row is a little bit difficult, but you know, from now on it'll be fairly easy. And that's it. Just do your chain 3s and pull through 3. Do your chain 3s, 3, and pull through 3. Do your chain 3s and pull through 3. Do your chain 3 and pull through 3. And that is it. That is the pattern. That's all you do. It's not rocket science. It's very simple. Like I said, this is good for people who have challenges figuring out the different crochet stitches. The chain is all you need to know, and it will help you get started. So I'm going to do the first 4 rows here, and then I am going to relax and finish this. I'm going to go a little bit faster, like my normal speed. I've been at teaching speed, but I'm sure by now we're into it at least a half an hour, I think, close to a half an hour. So you probably have gotten the gist of this by now. But I want to do 4 rows so that you can see what it looks like. There have been times where I have miscounted and only gotten 2 loops in the segment. If that happens, if for some reason you only end up with 2 loops and it's in the middle and you don't want to frog this, rip it out, all you have to do is take the loops off like so, and you'll have the big loop there. You go in from the back, take the yarn. You'll have enough, trust me, you'll have enough to make a 3rd loop. And pull up the loop, go into the next chain from the back, put the yarn over, and pull up a loop, and then take from the back, insert your hook into the chain, and pull up the next loop. Don't frog the whole thing, because that's really, really frustrating. And this is just how you fix when you miscount, or you're watching a show and you just miscount. That's how you fix that. So all right. But see how the segments are kind of You can see they're grouped up into threes. So you can use regular worsted weight for this too. You don't have to use baby yarn. I'm just using baby yarn for this because it's for a baby. But, you know, regular yarn is fine for a baby as well, and which is what I made the other one out of, although I'm just gonna donate that one to Project Linus. But for, you know, whoever needs one. And that was just regular worsted weight yarn. It wasn't baby yarn. Oh, I did it again. That first loop. There we go. All right, now we're at the end. And so just like the previous row, I'm going to snug that up a little bit. We're going to chain one, and then we just insert our hook into the 3 chains and pull up loops. Skip the cluster, 3 chains, skip the cluster, 3 chains, skip the cluster. Yep, and just do this all the way across. And you'll start to see the pattern forming with this row and the next row. You'll really start to see how it does. I did this once with the yarn with the shimmer in it on one side, and then a purple on the other side, like a lilac color. Oh, it was so pretty with just 2 solid colors, 2 different solid colors. It was really pretty. I sold that one, so, but now you can kind of see how the pattern is starting. And on this side, how it's going to be primarily white on this side. And then on this side, it'll be primarily the variegated. So my little YouTube channel is growing rapidly. I guess people like what I'm doing. Not everybody, but most people. Can't make everybody happy, right? So I would like, if you like what I'm doing, and if you want to get notified of the videos that I do, just like my video and subscribe. It's all that all is free. Make and comment how you like this, or if you're going to do this yourself, and if you do, what colors that you're going to use. You can get these Cro-Hooks at any craft store where they sell yarn supplies, knitting and crocheting supplies. And yeah, let me know and share it. You know, if you have a friend or somebody that is kind of wants to get into crochet but doesn't really know how to really start, or if you see that they're struggling, have them do this pattern. It's really simple. It really, really is. And it's, you know, it kind of taps into our assembly line repetitive, those of us who can do the same thing over and over and over again. Some people are, I always tell people I would be great at an assembly line. You know, screwing the lids on the bottles and putting the stamp on the envelope, or, you know, whatever it is. I could totally work on an assembly line. It's just how my brain works. Some people, that would drive them mad. So they need a job that changes up quite often. Not me. I could totally work in an assembly line and be completely happy. When I owned the salon, I used to have to, of course, fold towels, and that was another thing that I could just do that all day. Just fold, like sweeping. I could sweep all day, pressure washing. I can do that all day. Seriously, it's just that repetition, that repetitive over and over and over. You're just kind of doing the same thing over and over. That is how I am wired. And I'm gonna assume that most of us who have this talent, who do this, I'm gonna guess that you're just like me, that you could do repetitive things like this over and over again, and it just is relaxing, and it's, it helps you think. Like right now, yeah, I'm making this video, but I'm thinking about that baby. I cannot wait to get my hands on that baby. It's going to be born in August sometime, and we just cannot wait. So even though I'm making this video, I'm thinking, oh, this is going to be for the baby. So, okay, so now we've come to the end. So again, we turn. Now, if you see, you're working with 2 yarns. So if you keep twisting the same direction, what's going to happen is your yarn is going to end up all spiral around itself. So just be mindful of that. And if you, in order to not get your yarn tangled, turn it in the direction to where it doesn't get tangled. So now our working yarn is the variegated yarn, and we're going to do it all over again. We're going to pull up a loop like that, and then we're going to chain 3. 1, 2, 3. Pull through 3. All right, I'm just going to do this normal speed now. I'm just going to go ahead and do this row. Whoops. And let's go. Sure I am. There's that old, whatever, Dutch, Danish, Irish, Scottish proverb, the hurrier I go, the behinder I get. After you get a few rows, you'll really see the different colors starting, which will be, it's fun. You know what would be really neat with this? To do a adult size Afghan is, wouldn't it be neat to do a black on one side and do like red heart, like black light, or the stripes or something on the other side? One of those vibrant, or there's one that's by, I love this yarn. I can't think of the name of it right now, but it's really just screaming bright colors mixed with black. That would look really neat for an adult size. That would be kind of funky, psychedelic-y type. I might do that. That sounds like something that would be fun. All right, we are at the end. And then we do it all over again. I snug up that yarn, chain 1, and then you just do your loops. Put all your loops back on. So I am going to stop here pretty much, and sit back and relax for a while. I will show you my progress, and then I will see you when this is all finished. Hello and welcome back. It's been at least a month since I started this video, and I had some issues that I had to get through, and so but during that time I did finish this Afghan, and I have to tell you, I didn't enjoy it. This yarn, this baby yarn that I used, the variegated one, was really kind of a jerk to work with. and I didn't like it. But I persevered and carried on and got it done. So as you can see on this side, it's primarily white. Yeah, you can see the variegated through it, but this side is the whitish side. So if I flip it over, you can see that this side is primarily the variegated side. And then here's the difference. You can tell right here, this is primarily white, this is primarily variegated, and it's just a neat look that you really can't get doing any other procedure. So I would encourage people to use thicker yarn, maybe thicker baby yarn, not so thin. This was super thin, almost like a sport weight yarn, and it was just awful trying to. I had to pick the loop up and put it on the hook, and it just took forever. I love how it looks, and I'm sure that my husband's son and wife are going to love it for their baby. But I won't be using that yarn again. I'm just going to encourage people to use a thicker yarn or a thinner, a worsted weight yarn or something to do it. So I'm going to try to get this video out because I didn't do any recording of me doing it, because usually I do to show people how my progress is going, but I have anxiety. And I have a specific type of anxiety, and it reared its ugly head, and so I had to get through it. It took probably a good solid 6 weeks to get through it. So I'm better. I'm good now. So and cross my fingers it doesn't happen again. That'll be another video. I'm going to make another video about that. But I wanted to get this out. It's not going to be a very long video, but at least it'll give you a kind of an introductory little tutorial on how to do Cro-Hook and how fabulous the projects turn out when you do it, because I just think it looks so cool to have one side one color and one side another color, and simple. This one was really simple to do because the yarn is thicker, and it could, it didn't take me nearly as long as the other one did. I picked away at the other one, but I love how they look, and I will continue to do Cro-Hook Afghans, and I'll probably, next time I do one, I'll probably make another video about it. But anyway, I really, really appreciate you guys, your support. Please like and subscribe and share this if you know of anybody who's interested in using learning how to use Cro-Hooks and learning how to do this, because it is, it is pretty neat. This is a shorter one here. But anyway, please like and subscribe and share and all of those things that help my channel. I really, really appreciate it. Like I said, I'm getting this channel going so that by the time I retire in a couple of few years, that this is established and I can just do it more regularly and not have to worry about a lot of the ins and outs of doing it. So my new camera, the DJI that my husband bought me, is working fabulous, and it's got a good microphone. I don't have to wear a lapel microphone, I don't think. Maybe you can let me know in the comments if you can hear me okay. It sounds okay to me. But anyway, my next project, I'm not sure what it'll be. We're going to be traveling for a couple weeks, and so I'll probably work on something in the car while we're driving. But again, thank you so much for your support, and I will see you on the next video. Thank you so much.
Join the party and learn to crochet.